We're back and we are finishing off the Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates fight card. UFC Fight Night. UFC Vegas 100. Now, before we get into it, I want to very quickly thank you all for 501 subscribers. It is spectacular. We hit it like 2 days ago. I didn't want to come out and say anything just in case we lost some subscribers from that, because it happened at 200 and now we finally have officially hit 500. So thank you all for joining me and my journey for this channel. We have a lot more to talk about, but we will be talking about that tomorrow night for UFC 100's live watch party on this channel. I cannot wait. So I hope to see you all there, but let's get right into today's video. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload. Let's go. A lot has happened with this fight card. Fights have been pulled off. Fights have been moved around, switched around, but we are finally here for the main event. Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates. Prates is 20-6. His country is Brazil. He stands at 6 foot 1 inches tall. He weighed at 180 pounds 10 in his last win, has a reach of 78 inches and a leg reach of 43.5 inches. While Neil Magny, on the other hand, has a record of 29-13. His country is United States. He stands at 6 foot 3 inches tall. He weighed at 187 pounds in his last win, has a reach of 80 inches and a leg reach of 45 inches. This is going to be a good fight. I really hope that this is a good fight. Neil Magny has a lot of experience. Carlos Prates has a lot of experience as well. Although Neil Magny has a little bit more, it's going to be a good fight. A 2-inch height advantage for Neil Magny, a 2-inch reach advantage for Neil Magny, a 1.5-inch leg reach advantage for Neil Magny. A lot of the stats are going in Neil Magny's favour. The wins, he has a lot more wins, but he does have a lot more losses as well. The country, doesn't matter where you're from, it's how you perform. Height, 2 inches, Neil Magny. Weight, they're going to roughly weigh around the welterweight limit. Reach goes in Neil Magny's favour with 2 inches. Not a massive difference, but it's a bit significant than 1 inch. And leg reach, 1.5, that's a bit closer than what you need. But let's move on to win bias to see how they've got their wins in all of their fights that they've won in. With Carlos Prates having a 75% KO TKO, 15% submission, a 10% decision with an average fight time sitting around 7 minutes and a knockdown average of 3. That is insane. Neil Magny, though, having a 28% KO TKO, 14% submission, 59% decision with an average fight time sitting around 12 minutes and a knockdown average of 0. Carlos Prates is going to be deadly on the feet. We saw how Neil Magny took some leg kicks against Ian Gary, so I feel like Carlos Prates should just dominate that leg, smash that leg in, and obviously try and smash Neil Magny's face in. Neil Magny, he's got to be a lot more skilled in this fight. He's got to be a lot more time. These two guys are not spring chickens. They are old in the game, technically, but I think this could be a very good fight. I think it's going to be a very heavy striking match between these two. I think Neil Magny should probably try and get it down, go for a submission, but I think Carlos Prates should probably try and keep it on the feet. But let's move on to significant strikes to see how they performed in their previous fights on the feet. Neil Magny has an average of 3 punches landed per minute, an average of 46% significant strikes. I didn't mean to say average, sorry. An average of 2 punches absorbed per minute, a 51% defense, while Carlos Prates, on the other hand, had an average of 5 punches landed per minute, 57% significant strikes, an average of 5 punches absorbed per minute with a 48% defense. On the feet, I'm going to have to give it to Carlos Prates. Comparing it to Neil Magny's last fight, he dominated compared to Neil Magny. Although the defense from him was a little bit worse, he absorbed quite a bit more. His significant strikes was a lot better, and his landed per minute was a lot better too. But I still think that this could be a very tough fight for Neil Magny, because if Neil Magny can't set up the shots and make Carlos Prates think, then Carlos Prates will just catch them shots and then land his own, and it's going to be a long night for Neil Magny. I think on the feet it could be a very long night for Neil Magny. But let's move on to the grappling to see how they performed in their last fights. With Carlos Prates having a takedown average of 0, a 0% takedown accuracy, a takedown defense of 80%, a submission average of 0, while Neil Magny, on the other hand, had an average of 2 takedowns, 40% takedown accuracy, 54% takedown defense, with a submission average of 0 as well. Just based off this fight, Carlos Prates has the defense that he could definitely defend Neil Magny's takedowns. Carlos Prates probably won't go for any takedowns, he'll try and keep it on the feet. But I think Neil Magny should try and get the takedowns. His takedown accuracy in his last fight was fairly poor, and Carlos Prates' defense in his previous fight was very good, so I wonder how that's going to match up in this fight. Putting all the stats together, I think Neil Magny should try and get it taken down. I think he'll get outstriked and outclassed on the feet. That's just my thoughts and my opinions on that. But I think Neil Magny could do fairly well on the feet, but I'd say try and get it down, try and get a submission, try and get control time, and try and beat Carlos Prates down on the ground. While Carlos Prates, keep it on the feet, try and go for the knockout, defend them takedowns, and see what you can do there. But that's just my thoughts and my opinions. What do you guys think? Who do you think wins? How do you think win? Apart from that, I'll catch you in a bit. We're going to be streaming this tomorrow night, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for the predictions too. Take care, and peace.